I'm not following any type of script, any type of bullet points for this video because I want it to come out as raw and as natural as a topic. Authenticity is raw, and it's not always easy to access because as social beings, we are naturally terrified of rejection. We are terrified that if we express ourselves, if we speak from the heart, if we're not performing and conforming to what we think everybody else wants, it will be rejected. And the truth is, we will be. You are guaranteed to be rejected when you are yourself by the people who aren't aligned with you, by the people who aren't like you. When you embody your authenticity, when you express yourself and you stop trying to fit everybody's, version of you that you think that they want, then definitely some people will be turned off. Some people will be turned away from you and they will be uninterested in you. They will be bothered by you. They won't find you interesting and they won't like you. But the people who are like you, the people who you are meant to attract, they will be able to spot you out and they will stick to you like honey. Because authenticity, it brings this sweet clarity. It acts as a natural sorting process that sorts out what's in alignment and what's not. If you are always performing and you're always trying to, act like someone who you're not, then how are the opportunities and the people and the things that are for you, how are they going to find you? They won't, because you'll look like anybody else. And it's not about looking a certain way, right? It's not about an aesthetic. It's about the way that you carry yourself, the way that you talk, the way that you express yourself, the way that you walk. That is all your soul signature. That all embodies your soul spark, right? And when you do this in a way that is true to you, other people will feel it and they will want to be near it, because that real authenticity, it is something so magnetic that nobody can really imitate. You can't imitate authenticity, right? You can imitate people around you who act authentic, but that'll never be your authenticity. You can imitate all these people and try to, copy their mannerisms, try to copy the things that they do or their interests and try to mirror them and match them so they like you. And so people, find you more palatable. But really, then you're just missing the whole point. You will never be as good as being me as I am at being me. And I will never be as good at being me. I will never be as good at being you as you are at being you. We all have our unique set of characteristics and little things and quirks, and whether you think they're good or they're bad or whatever, it all creates the picture of who we are. And we all have our own potential and our own mission to accomplish. We all have things that we are meant to have and that we're not. And if we are acting like something else, then we'll never be. If we're acting like someone else and trying to be like someone else, we will never be as good as them and we will never live up to our potential. The only way that we can live up to our potential and to become the most radiant, most magnetic, most embodied and powerful version of ourselves is by leaning into our authenticity. It's by getting to know ourselves and owning that energy. It's by really strengthening ourselves and making the most out of who we are, not trying to be the best version of somebody else. You feel me? You're hearing it from me, and you probably heard it from everybody else. Just be yourself. Just be yourself. Just be yourself. That's great. But how do we be ourselves if we don't really even know who we are? And this is, who are we, right? This is something that is hard for a lot of people to answer, because we are constantly being filled and fed with everybody else's lives, everybody else's stories, their perspective, their thoughts on social media all the time. And then we're around our friends, we're around people, and it's like we can kind of lose ourselves in that process. How do you hear your own voice and even appreciate it or learn how to express it when all you're listening to is everybody else's voices? So the first step to embodying our authenticity is by getting to know ourselves, right? So we got to be willing to sit with ourselves, to sit in those spaces that are uncomfortable, and to sit in that silence, and just really become really cool with yourself, like getting to know yourself, like a friend. Like get really curious about who are you. Like, ask yourself these questions, right? Ask yourself when you're journaling, like, okay, what do I love? What do I like? What do I hate? What am I passionate about? What do I really care about? What excites me? What upsets me? What do I find interesting? What is interesting about me? What am I into? What do I want to be? What do I hope for the world? Getting to know yourself, it's a lifelong process. There's always more to learn about the world and about ourselves. And I think that we learn about the world through ourselves, and we learn about ourselves through experiencing the world. But you can really start by just journaling and asking yourself these questions. And so that's the active part of it, but also just passively being able to sit there and let your thoughts come to you, right? It doesn't have to be always working to get to know yourself, always journaling. That's important, but we got to be willing to sit in that, that flow state, in that stillness, or even not stillness, even on a busy day. But hear our thoughts and listen to them, and don't be so quick to judge them or shut them out, but listen to our thoughts and hear where they're coming from, right? Reflect on them. We got to be willing to hear ourselves, to let ourselves speak to ourselves before we can express our voice to the world in its truth. And when you get to know yourself and you really sit with that and you become okay sitting with that, and you learn to love your company and love your own presence, that is truly a beautiful thing. I mean, it's really changed my life, and I do want to make a whole video about that, getting to know yourself, because we can get into it. So getting to know yourself, that is really the first step for being able to step into and express that authenticity. And it really does show when somebody knows who they are, right? They know who they are. They know their worth. They know what makes them then. They walk with this purpose, and they walk with this authenticity, and it truly shows. It truly is something that cannot be replicated. It truly gives them this glow, like the sun hitting me through these blinds right now. So getting to know yourself is the first step, and then you gotta be expressing that. And it's hard expressing your truth, expressing your opinion, expressing yourself through speaking out loud, even like speaking in class, speaking up your mind, just sharing your thought, talking to people, or expressing yourself through art, or through writing. It's a muscle that you work, and it's something that takes time getting comfortable in expressing yourself. But the more that you do it, the easier it becomes, the more natural it feels, and the more you speak up, the more you share your truth, your light, the more naturally it comes to you. So stop diminishing your spark by trying to hide behind, these masks and trying to perform for everybody else. Because when you express yourself from your truth, right? And when you show your light unafraid and embodied, then real is gonna vibe with you. Real vibes with real. So you will attract those real people. You will attract, real experiences and real things that don't only attract you because you're pretending to be something else. Because anything that is drawn to you when you are pretending to be something that you're not is not for you, and eventually it will fall away and it will not be good for you. But when you embody really who you are, then you give off this magnetism to most people, like I said, and those who aren't for you, the things that aren't meant for you, yeah, they will fall away as they're meant to, faster. So then you can really attract everything that is. Again, your soul has its own beautiful soul signature, and it has a mark that it makes. And you could really only make that mark when you are willing to show up with your true face, with what your heart has to say, and you trust in yourself. You gotta trust in yourself that you will find the words, and that you will be held and received and accepted by what is really meant for you, right? Get to know yourself, love yourself, and stop hiding, because when you come out in your truth and as who you really are, then that's when you'll really be able to go far and magnetize all that is awaiting you and all that is meant for you. When you embody your authenticity, you are putting out a beacon of light that will attract everything that is meant for you. And it puts out this spark that really will bring in all those people and blessings like glue. Okay, look at me, little poet. All right. Yes, it can be scary and it could be uncomfortable, but when you bet on yourself and you trust in yourself to express who you really are, that's when you'll really be able to go far. So please stop dimming your light, because the world needs that. The world needs that authenticity. It needs that originality, because please, there's so much copy and paste. There are so many people dressing the same way, saying the same things, right? Doing the same things and thinking that it's going to give them something more than who they are. But imagine if we really expressed ourselves in the way that we want to. I'm not saying like express yourself, say whatever you want to anybody and go crazy, but if we express the evolved versions of ourselves, like we work on ourselves and we heal and we express our truth, then really we can make the world so much brighter. We can make so many lives brighter by really shedding our true light. I hope that this resonated with you and that you're able to take something from this. If you enjoyed the video, I would love if you hit that like button, and if you let me know your thoughts in the comments. I really do appreciate, hearing the feedback. And if you would hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.